Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. We're in a little bit of a different space today. You can see my face and my baby here. But I felt very compelled to get on here and talk a little bit about the downloads that I've been receiving. And I know this isn't really something that I do a whole lot on my channel, so if you're not here for it, that's totally fine. Whoever it's meant for, it'll reach. And that's just how I have to look at this. Lately, I've been very called to use my channel as a diary. And with that being said, here I am. Really have been leaning into posting what I feel called to post instead of what I feel like other people want or need from me. I really need to use this space as a space for healing for myself, and I hope that's, how it's received out in the world as well. But today I have been in a very channeled state all day today so far, and I felt like there may be some people out there that need to hear these messages. So I might draw a few cards at the end of this stream. I was going to do this live, but to be honest, I just was too nervous to, and I felt like the messages that I needed to speak weren't going to be received or articulated well enough for me to be able to do that at this time. That doesn't mean I won't be able to in the future, but that is something that I struggle with as well. So let's go ahead here and start with some of the downloads that I've been receiving, and yeah, we'll go from there. So today is February 22nd, and we have a full moon occurring February 23rd or 24th, depending on where you live, etc. And I have felt this moon so hard for the last couple of weeks, and I feel like this is where these messages are coming from for me. It was almost like a channel download from Luna herself, which was quite intense and interesting. But the message, the overarching theme of this download that I received is karma, and how we create karma, and the need to realize that the karma that we subconsciously on a very deep soul level create for ourselves, for when it's connected to our life purpose, our soul purpose, our life missions, etc., our life here on earth, it's very connected to why we're here. And I do feel like there are a lot of people out there right now that are like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? I don't want to be living this life anymore, and I feel like it's something that a lot of people are struggling with, and I feel like these people that are struggling with this right now that I'm tapping into are seekers. They are the healers, and I see them being represented by the Hermit card in the tarot, which is very Virgo energy to me, and this full moon is in the sign of Virgo. So I do feel like it's all very connected, as it always is, but I feel like this Hermit energy has a lot to do with going inward to really tap into why we're here, and coming into acceptance of the fact that we are here, that our soul chose to incarnate, even though life is hard. Life on this 3D earthly realm is very difficult for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. I feel like one of the big themes right now for these people that resonate with this energy has a lot to do with the karma that we create. And there is a message here that there needs to be a conscious awareness of the fact that our karma that we create is always going to be connected to other souls. It's always going to involve other people here on this earth. And a lot of the times the hermit tends to isolate or go into solitude or try to separate themselves from society or from community. And I feel like for a lot of souls right now, there is a need to recognize how, even if you're in the most isolated or most confined solitude you've ever been in, there's a need to recognize how you are still at least energetically, karmically connected to other souls, and maybe that's where you're meant to be looking right now. Maybe you're meant to be working with your karmic energies. Maybe you're meant to be recognizing karmic energies. Maybe you're meant to be recognizing, you know, why this connection is there and what that means and what you're supposed to do with it. But there's like this huge so I'm not an astrologist by any means, and I just want to put that out there. I love astrology and I feel very drawn to it, but I feel very drawn to it in a very, very intuitive way, not in a very kind of formal or studied way. And what I mean by that is a lot of the times I will feel certain energies and I will know what astrological event is speaking to me or what planetary energy I'm tapping into. It's not like, well, something weird keeps happening, or, you know, my phone is glitching, or I can't communicate properly, so I know that Mercury's in retrograde, or I go look up to see if Mercury's in retrograde. It never involves those types of things for me. It's just a knowing. And I feel very connected to the moon right now, as I already stated, very connected to this Virgo energy, and very connected to Venus and Libra energy as well. Even a little bit of like Gemini energy coming through here, but more in a third house type of way versus like the overarching kind of theme of Gemini. There's a very Scorpio and third house energy coming here, and it's like very intense transformative communication with other people, and that's where that Libra energy comes in and that karmic energy comes in. There's something here about needing to recognize that your karmic energies simultaneously impact the people that you are connected to, even if it's just energetically. And I really hope that this is making sense, but there's something here where it's like we are all connected, and there's a need for conscious awareness of this. We all come from source. We all come from a source. And I was being shown this earlier in this kind of download that occurred, that we all come from the same source, but it just fragments, and each fragment expresses differently. And that's where that separation comes in. It's like, well, I don't resonate with you, or we aren't connected, or we aren't cut from the same cloth, because you are seeing, you know, the world basically inside out compared to me or compared to somebody else. You have opposing views. And, you know, this could just be, if we use this kind of metaphor, this analogy of like wearing a shirt, you know, there's one piece of cloth that can be cut from the back and one from the front, and they're still from the same source, but maybe one has a design on it, you know. And if we think about the view of those two pieces of cloth that were cut from the same shirt, you know, one side of it is always viewing life almost like through a rear view, kind of watching things disappear behind you. And one of them is always looking at everything head on. And when we connect with people like that, or we get to a point in a relationship like that where we think, well, you know, we just got to go our separate ways, or this isn't going to work because we're just too different, there's almost some sort of like need for the conscious awareness that even though you may be on opposing sides of a spectrum, you're both on the same spectrum. I don't know, there's something here about needing to be consciously aware that we are not, in fact, cut from a different cloth than everybody else, and that our karma, there's a very big, almost every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And that's essentially what karma is. But there's a need to recognize that, like, even on a soul level, when we connect to our karmic energies, or when we, you know, create our karmic energies, because I do believe that as a soul we incarnate here and we live certain experiences to create certain karmic energies in order to heal them, in order to experience new things for our soul, in order to experience new levels of growth and expansion, in order to travel down different journeys and have new things unfold in the future. We have to first, you know, move in a different way from where we currently are. And I believe that every action we take affects, you know, the people around us, especially the people that we are closest to. And this download had so much to do with this karmic energy and living in a way where it's like, well, I'm not going to, you know, say certain things. I'm not going to show this specific part of myself. I'm going to do everything I think that everybody else needs around me. I'm going to make sure everybody else is comfortable, and I'm going to neglect myself. That aspect is coming in here, and this download has a lot to do with needing to recognize that that also not only creates karma, but it creates karma for somebody else. Okay, because when we live in a certain way, we present ourselves in a certain way because we want to be accepted, and we don't stand up for ourselves, and we let others step over our boundaries, and we let other people maybe walk all over us or take advantage of us, or we give everything that we have until we're depleted out of this need for attention or validation or acceptance or whatever it might be. We then kind of enforce this behavior in this other soul that, well, it's okay to treat me this way, it's okay to treat other people this way, it's okay to completely ignore boundaries because I did it and you didn't express how it actually made you feel, and you made that other person believe that that was okay, and now they're going to move forward in life continuing to do this and continuing to think it's okay until it's just, you know, a habit, until it's just who they are, essentially. And that's creating karma for them now, essentially. And I really hope that that whole train of thought made sense to you guys, but I feel like there's something very big here for the collective in regards to recognizing our karmic creation, recognizing where we create karma, when we're creating karma, and how that karma is going to not only impact us in our journey, but how it's going to connect and impact to other people in their journey. And, you know, I kind of feel like at this point in this video, I'm just kind of rambling these thoughts that I have. But again, like I said earlier, I really feel very drawn to using this channel as an outlet for me and sharing all of my thoughts and all of my downloads, you know, as best I can. Obviously, you know, this type of interaction with the world really creates a lot of anxiety for me, almost like stage fright, if you will, which is really weird because I'm literally just sitting here talking to a camera. It's not like I'm sitting in front of thousands of people speaking, but it does in fact feel like that sometimes. And being open and being vulnerable and allowing yourself to be seen in a way that can create conflict, that can create resentment, that can create other people lashing out, or, you know, just putting yourself out there like that can be scary, and it's something that I've always struggled with. So this video may seem kind of rambly for you, but I did feel the need to share just these kind of downloads that I was receiving earlier, and maybe somebody needs to tap into that. Maybe somebody needed, you know, validation. Maybe somebody needed clarity in a sense of where they are in their journey, or maybe why they're feeling like they're so alone or on this journey alone, when in fact you're just seeking. I feel like there's this overall energy of seeking where you belong. This full moon has a lot to do with healing our karmic energy, and recognizing how our healing also has that ripple effect, just like our creating our karma does, right? So don't be scared of your healing. Don't be scared of your journey, even if you feel like your journey is taking you away from certain people, if you feel like you're outgrowing certain people, if you feel like you are continuing to grow while others are stagnant or just can't keep up with you, and you feel compelled to stop, you know, in your journey, and then have your journey solely rely on the growth of somebody else out of this fear of leaving them behind, or this fear of hurting somebody's feelings, or this fear of abandonment that you struggle with yourself, and it almost feels wrong to walk away from somebody or something else, because you feel like, well, I wouldn't want somebody to do that to me. And there's this self-sacrificial energy here in order to feel connected. And I feel like the universe and Venus and the moon really want to emphasize the subconscious connection that we have to everything and everybody around us, and wanted to bring to like the conscious awareness of the fact that we are never alone. Even if, you know, there's not a person walking right by our side, we are never alone, and we are constantly connected and connecting to other souls. And so if you're feeling alone, Or are you feeling like you don't know where you belong? Maybe there's a need to go inward on that hermit spiritual journey and really find how to energetically connect to other people. I feel like this has a lot to do with cracking open, again, being vulnerable. It has a lot to do with learning how to open up to connection versus having a physical presence in your life. Some of the souls that tap into this download may really resonate with this idea of never really completely understanding what love is or what a relationship is supposed to feel like, because maybe you really resonate with not being able to connect to other souls, or not feeling any different when you're in a relationship, or not having like this intense, overwhelming, tear-jerking sense of love surround you when somebody proposes to you, or even when you have a child. Some of you guys may feel very disconnected and very unsure, very almost confused or foggy in regards to what love or connection is. And maybe that's why this journey is beginning for you with this full moon, and the energies just around us right now have a lot to do with tapping into energetic connection to ourselves, our body, mind, and soul, in order to connect externally. And I just really feel like I needed to share that. Let's go ahead here, you guys, and I'm gonna pull a couple cards and just see what comes out. I'm not gonna ask any specific questions, and it doesn't even necessarily have to relate to the messages that I was just sharing, but I just feel like for some of you guys, drawing a card or two may be something that brings forth some clarity or some answers or some healing for you, okay? So we're starting with the Eight of Wands. I feel like, you guys, there's something here where it's like you're feeling very rushed in life. You're feeling very overwhelmed, very much so like, I have to rush to get all these things done. I have no time for myself. I have all of these responsibilities, and I'm feeling a very like Eight of Wands and Eight of Pentacles type energy here, almost mixed together. And I feel like this Pentacles energy is the Virgo energy. It is that earth energy, that very slow moving energy. So I feel like for you guys, it's like you've been here for a long time and you're really wanting things to speed up, but you've been like rushing through life. You've been skipping over the things that you're being asked to see in order to heal, in order to grow, in order to move forward in a way that is truly going to be productive. I feel like for a lot of you guys, you've been stuck in this rut where it's like, you know, I'm doing all of the things, I'm going through the motions, I'm getting up and I'm going to work every day, and I'm not getting the rewards, I'm not getting the promotions, I'm not getting the increase that was promised to me here. And the reason why is because you're not doing the best work that you can do, you're doing the fastest work that you can do. And that's something that I feel like a lot of us fall into. And this isn't just, you know, in regards to our actual physical resources or money. For some of you guys, it could reflect in that. It could literally be your actual physical day-to-day job with Virgo energy coming through here. It could be your routine, your structure, and really rushing through life, trying to get all of these tasks done, trying to get, you know, all of the responsibilities taken care of, and making sure that you meet every deadline, and making sure that you can stay on top of your game. And there's a need to slow down. There's a need to do your best work and not your fastest work, okay? And then we also have the Page of Cups. I feel like you guys have been waiting. You've been waiting for your calling. You've been waiting for something or someone to come in and like direct you or tell you where to go, when in reality you've been asked to go within and find your compass. And I feel like your compass is being activated right now, if that makes sense for you guys. The more you slow down, the more you're going to be able to recognize where you're being called to, what you're being moved to do. With the waves in this imagery here, it's really reminding me of the tide, the ebb and flow of the ocean, of the water that the moon controls. And there's a need to really slow down and tap into that ebb and flow and follow it. That is your compass, you guys. That is your compass. You are being led on this journey, that hermit energy, that seeker energy, that spiritual journey, that path of enlightenment. You are being led down it, but there's a true need to slow down and allow yourself to see where the road forks, or where the sign is leading you, instead of assuming that you know the directions to get there. It's almost like you've been sent on a detour and you've been feeling incredibly lost for a period of time now. You haven't been able to figure out how to get back on your path, or back to your path, or back to what feels right, or back to your passion, because of all of these things that have stacked up in your life, your responsibilities and the day-to-day work, and trying to maintain, trying to be healthy, trying to clean, trying to take care of your family, all of these things. And it almost feels like you've been viewing them as things that get in your way of living your best life. And there's a need to slow down here. A need to be present in your life. A need to really allow yourself to find the things in your life that you need, that you want to be more present for, that you want or need to put more energy or attention into, and really allow yourself to release the rest of it. Even though, somewhere in your brain you're going to have to retrain, you're going to have to create a new foundation, a new structure, a new routine, habit stacking, to allow yourself to let go of certain things that you've stressed yourself out about, that you've convinced yourself are too important to let go, when in reality they're not. It's not life or death if you don't do laundry every day. It's not life or death if you don't, do a 20-minute workout every single day. Is that something that means something to you? Is it something that you feel like you have to do and that's very important to you? Then do that. But if it's not, then why are you beating yourself up about something that you don't even feel like you should be doing, or like you should have to do, or like, there's something here where it's like, I feel like this isn't even necessary for me, but I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna miss my ship. I'm gonna miss my ride because I feel like I have to do all of these tasks, all of these chores, and if I don't do these, then I have this overwhelming sense of guilt that I can't, that I'm a failure. You guys are putting far too much pressure on yourselves, I feel like, and the universe, God, spirit, whatever it is that you connect to, is really wanting you to slow down and really wanting you to release the pressure. Release the pressure, okay? And focus on that. When you start feeling the pressure build up in your life, when you're busy at work, when you're, you've got 1,500 things to do before you get your kids off the bus, when you've got, one day off and you have a month's worth of housework that you feel like you're very behind on, don't allow yourself to deplete yourself even more or run yourself into the ground thinking that you have something to prove, or that these things are more important than your mental, physical, or emotional health, because they're not. So big message here to stop putting yourself behind everything else. And there's a need to slow down and focus on self, focus on healing, focus on, lifting yourself up. You've been a support for everything and everybody else for so long. There's a message here to focus on lifting yourself up, okay? Let's pull another card here. We have two. All right, so we then have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, see, and I said that. I said I felt that Ten of Wands here, that it's very heavy. I feel like you are carrying things that you don't even need to carry with you anymore, you guys. It's time to put it down. Why are you carrying it with you? Why are you still carrying with you things that happened in, let's say you're 40 and you experienced a heartbreak or a breakup in high school, and you hold everybody you meet now accountable for the actions or reactions of somebody from 20 years ago, out of this idea. You're protecting yourself by not allowing this to happen again, but by not allowing this to happen again, you're holding on to it, which is allowing this energy in your life every single day. You relive it every time you think about it. You re-feel it every time you think about it. You experience it again internally every time you replay it in your head to make sure that you aren't allowing it to happen outside of you. So there's a huge need here to release, to let go. And then we have the High Priestess, that inner compass, you guys, that inner compass. Going inward to find that inner compass, and it's very much so like the moon, very much so comes in phases. Sometimes it's a very quiet whisper, sometimes it's very loud, sometimes you have to search for it, sometimes it's nowhere to be found. There is a beauty in living your life in this way of trusting that you know you better than anybody else does, trusting that what you desire, what you want, what you're drawn to is more significant than what community or society has taught you you should do. So yeah, those are the messages. I'm going to go ahead and just leave this here. I just really wanted to put myself out there. I really wanted to share some of the thoughts with you that I've been having and to maybe bring some clarity to some people. But until next time, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in. And I look forward to connecting with you guys and seeing you guys like this more often. Let me know what you thought of this. Let me know if this, hit any spots for you. Let me know if any light bulbs went off for you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.